Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you, Sharon. Terrible. Good evening. It's Ludwin. So this whole time I've been talking and nobody can hear me. Terrible, 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 terrible. All right. So tonight we're going to review Reesa Teesa and her story. By now, you should know um, about her story. She dropped it roughly 2 weeks ago around Valentine's week. And thank you, Cheryl. And I'm going to do my best to review. I've given it my time to let it sink in and also see the rolling stories that came after she posted and people have came out. Even the ex-husband child has spoken. So we're gonna go over through that. Tonight is going to be part one. I don't have particularly um a reason for me to go through it every night. So I'm gonna go live when I feel like it. So whenever I feel like doing part two, I'm just gonna do part two. I'm gonna be honest here. Let's see. If you're watching me from YouTube, be sure to like, share, comment your thoughts in the chat, and also subscribe if you're watching me from Facebook. Like this live, share this live, comment underneath this live. And also, there's no subscribe button on my Facebook, so you might as well just follow. But yeah, shout out to the Queen Real Talk with Yanni. She was the one that initially posted this story on her YouTube, and I've been following her for years now, and that's how I watched the full thing. I did not watch it from TikTok. I watched it from her doing a compilation of 7 different parts overall over the 52 videos she posted. I am not a TikToker. I know. As much as an influencer that I'm trying to be, I do not do TikTok because TikTok is very draining. Like even this story, Reesa Teesa, her story was very draining too. Um, and a lot of times with Black TikTok, the same way we have Black Twitter, there's a lot of trauma dumping, and I don't have the energy for trauma dumping. So if I watch it, it's only going to be for a while and then I get off the app. Honestly, I haven't posted in months on TikTok, so that's neither here nor there. But so we're gonna get started. Uh People, please be nice. If this is your first time watching Reesa Teesa's story, let's get into it. Hey Daryl, welcome. Thank you. All right, let's get started. Okay, hold on. How do I put this? No, that's too small. No, where's my layout? Where's my layout? Wait a minute. Oh, I took it out. The news layout. Okay, there you go. Boom. Let's do this. All right.
Okay, so things that my pathologically lying ex-husband lied about. Backstory. I'm gonna try to get as much of this as I can into this video, because I hate when people say follow for part two, but I'm gonna try. All right, backstory number one. We met in March of 2020. Georgia got shut down, locked down 2.5 weeks later. We got married January of 2021, and we were divorced August of 2021. So keep in mind that this story is spanning March of 2020 until about June of 2021, because I kicked him out the house on his birthday. So we met online, Facebook dating and Hinge. I will never do online dating again. But that is where I met him. My tire blew on 285 just before Boulder Crest, on my way to our first date. Clearly that was a sign. I didn't listen. but my tire blew, and he met me at a gas station. We were supposed to be meeting at Cheesecake Factory, but because the tire blew, he met me at a gas station, fixed my tire, then took me to go get another tire, paid for it. And I just thought, oh my God, this is the beginning of a beautiful romantic story. Boy, was I wrong. So, things he lied about. Every morning he would get on the phone with his brother. We'll call his brother John. He would get on the phone with John and he would be like, hey, babe, John said good morning. And I'm in the bathroom doing my hair because I still had to go to work at this time. And so I would just say, hey, John, call out, hey, John. And, he would relay back and forth what I said to John, what John said to me. I never actually talked to John on the phone. And so he would be like, I can't wait for COVID to be over. Me and my girl, we're going to come to see y'all. I can't wait for Auntie to meet her. Side note, his parents are deceased, excuse me. So he was like, I can't wait for you guys to meet her. Like, I know I'm gonna marry her. I know it. He said everything I wanted to hear. Love bombing 101. This man wrote the book. So he talked to his brother every day. He talked to his friends every day in front of me. He would be on the phone laughing, cutting up, cracking jokes, telling them, hey, she said, hey, just having conversation like a normal conversation. I didn't think anything of it. It wasn't until he got kicked out of my house in June of 2021 that I found out every single phone call was made up. He was never on the phone. I don't know. Those of you who are watching, you're probably like, there's no way. Listen to what I'm saying. Everything I'm telling you can be verified. Every single phone call he ever had was made up. The phone calls where he called to pay his car off, made up. The phone call to the realtor when we were looking at houses, made up. The phone call to the bank for them to release the money for the house that he signed his name for, made up. Every phone call was made up. His brother, every day, he and his brother had not spoken since 2015 when his mother died. I found that out later on. He made up every phone call. He had no friends, but yet every phone call would be my friend this, my friend that. The second lie, his job. He told me when I first met him out the gate that he was a VP at his company. He had been transferred from California to Georgia, and he was in the process of, getting himself settled. He was looking to buy a house. His job was VP of a major condiment company. I won't say the name because I don't want to get sued. But he said that his job was VP at that company. It is fair to note he paid every bill. He paid all the bills. He gave me
Why do I keep doing this? I keep forgetting to unmute myself. I'm sorry. Um, as I was saying, in 2020, uh, we have we went through a time where people needed companionship because of the shutdown at the time. In a lot of ways, people were making choices that they shouldn't have. So, given this situation with Reesa Teesa, I feel like 3 years later, we're going to see a lot of the same stories because, as you know, 2024 is the year of the truth, and truth will be coming out. And don't be surprised if your story come out or a lot of women is going to start talking, start spilling out. It started off early with the whole Diddy thing, but that's a different story. So we're talking about Reesa Teesa tonight. And as you can see, this first video that we're playing is giving an overview of the action. And then she goes into like the 50 parts where she goes into details. Um, so as we could see, this man was lying about who he was talking to. The man was signing documents he had no business signing in, and he was doing fraud. He was doing scams and acting like he got money. And sadly, there's a lot of men like that in real life. I mean, this is real life. I'm just saying, like, there's quite a few of homosexuals out here. And I want you to know tonight's live is to recognize these homosexuals. So you don't fall victim to another homosexual, because that would be extremely, extremely sad if you fall after you watch Reesa Teesa. I am thankful that Reesa put her story out, and I'm sure it will help a lot of women catch on to some of the key points that she mentions in her story and how you can correlate that into your own life and see where you have messed up, what red flags you have um, given, the blind eye to, are you someone, if you see a red flag, you pinch your nails red too because you're like, you know what, I'm a Captain Save a Hoe, I can fix you. And that's the worst thing to do, is try to fix a man. You're not his mom. You're not his mom. You are nobody's mom. It is not your responsibility to support any man. And I mean that in the bottom of my heart. And that's the goddess in me talking. You do not need to help no man at all. Yeah? Okay. Let's continue.
Spending money. Like, even though we were quarantined, locked down in my little townhouse, again, this story was always he's trying to buy a house. So when we got together, it was, we need to buy a house together. Like, this is forever. We're going to have a family. Let's go ahead and find a house. So the lie is that he was a VP at his company, and he maintained that lie every day. Truth is, he was a temp. He called me from work all the time. I may have to make a different video to explain how he was able to lie with the work stuff. So he would call me and he would pretend to reprimand employees who couldn't see that he had a Bluetooth thing in his ear. He would pretend to reprimand them in front of me. He would pretend to take phone calls from the company president who needed his help on something. He forged emails that he showed me from the company president asking him, we need to get this up and running. We need to do this project. We need to do that. It is scary how brilliant he was and how much energy he put into the lie. But he was a temp. He was a temp forklift driver. There's nothing wrong with a forklift driver. But he was pretending to be a VP. Third lie, housing. He told me he was looking to buy a house. We got together and we started looking at houses. I found a beautiful 5-bedroom, 6-bath house in Smyrna, Georgia that was gorgeous. It was brand new construction build. And I love the house. The house was listed for $699,000. He showed me paperwork from Chase Bank saying that he was approved for a mortgage for $750,000. Yeah. I watched as he put in an all-cash offer on this $699,000 house. I watched him sign his name to a legally binding document for an all-cash offer. The reason why the house fell through was because the builder did not want to finish the basement. We were requesting that the basement get finished. He did not want to, so he declined our offer and took the offer of another couple who didn't need the basement finished. That's the only reason why that house fell through. I see now where God's grace protected me because, well, it really protected him because legally I was not his wife. So I was not on the mortgage for that home. So third lie had to do with housing. Fourth lie had to do with baby. So I got pregnant, lost the baby. I was sad at the time. I am not anymore, but lost the baby, had to have a D&C. When I was in the hospital, the doctor called him to let him know, she'll be discharged. Because again, this is COVID. So you could not go in the hospital at the time when I had the surgery. So the doctor called him and said, she's going to be released in an hour and a half. He pretended to be his own executive assistant. And so he said, Mr. James is in a board meeting, but I'm his executive assistant, David. How can I help you? You can let me know what's going on. Obviously, the doctor wouldn't do that. So she just said, please let him know that Miss So-and-so will be ready for pickup in an hour and a half. He told the doctor he's in a board meeting until about for about another 30 minutes, and then he'll be on his way. I should have only been in the hospital for an hour and a half. I was there for 3 hours. Because again, he was a temp forklift driver, so he couldn't get off work. But I didn't know that at the time. So those are just some of the things that my pathological lying ex-husband did. There's so much more. I have severe PTSD. And I know it's my fault. I know that I did not trust myself. I did not pay attention to the United Nations of red flags. I did not pray. And I am paying the consequences for that. So there's nothing anyone can say to me, girl, you was dumb. I was desperate. I wanted to be married. I wanted a family. And I thought it was my turn. And instead, I got pulled into something my brain could not even comprehend. And guess what, guys? What I just told you is only 5% of the story. So yeah, let me know if anybody knows somebody at Lifetime. And also, if any of you got any sort of gift cards for Stella Rosa Black, I'll take those as well. That's my story.
Hi, and welcome. We all know why you're here. You're here for part of the new series that I'm calling Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I'm going to create this playlist series, and I'm going to tell the story of how I met, dated, married, and divorced a real pathological liar. This is my introduction / disclaimer video. First and foremost, I'm going to be truthful, even if it makes me look bad. I'm going to be honest, but I'm also not going to be disrespectful to anyone that was involved. I'm not going to use people's real names because I don't have their permission to do so, and this does not want any sort of litigation. I will tell you off the top, I have a sense of humor and I have sarcasm. So things that you see me laughing at, none of this is funny. But in order to get through it, I have to laugh. If I cry, I cry. I'm human. I'm a woman. This was traumatic. I'm going to do the best I can to upload as much of the story as I can, because I know people get so annoyed with the follow for part 4, follow me for part 17. I'm just going to do the best I can to keep uploading the videos each at a time. I'm going to go in order.
And I'm definitely good. I'm definitely the type to watch all the parts because I have time. I have time. Okay. I have time. If your story is convincing enough, I will watch it. I will support. I why not? What's a view? It's free, right? It's free. What is a view? Um 10 minutes of my time. You it is what it is. So, a few things. She said that she was desperate. I think I said this earlier, but I will reiterate this again. So, if we can think back in 2020, we had the surge of alpha male content. Everywhere you looked, it was alpha male this, alpha male that. You are big, you are fat, you need to lose weight, you don't deserve a high value man. It was so much rhetoric on Black women. It was so much ganging up on Black women that we end up with women just choosing bums, just like this man, just because they were tired of being single and they thought it was their turn. We have a lot of homosexuals out here preying on women during COVID. Reesa is not necessarily the first to share her story with a homosexual, and I'm sure she won't be the last. I'm definitely sure she will not be the last. However, Reesa is someone that a lot of these alpha male content would definitely call her Big Shirley. And for some reason, just because you're Big Shirley, you don't deserve love. You deserve to get any scraps out here, right? You don't deserve to be treated like a human being. You don't deserve to have honesty. And that's sad because the least you could do is give me honesty. The least you could do is not lie to me. Even if you're broke, don't lie saying you have money and you don't. There's plenty of women who accept broke men. I'm not one of them though. But there are quite a few. And they appreciate honesty. However, for someone to go through so much lying in order to have a place to stay, that person is mentally unstable. Mentally unstable. Extremely unstable. It makes no sense how much lying men do on the regular when you could just be honest. However, they feel like they have to manipulate you into submission. There goes that wonderful word, submission. You have to submit to me. I'm a man. You need to listen to me. Yeah, there was quite a bit of that type of content back in 2020. So I'm not surprised. Give and take about 3 years. If a woman went through hell for 2020 and 2021, Give them the time to heal. They will definitely be coming online right about now, which is 2024. And considering that 2024 is a year of the truth, ooh, Lord, I am scared for you men. I am scared for you men. The way women are about to share stories out here, and the more women are going to wake up and stop being under the Lululand of men and worshiping the black male. It's going to be crazy. Um, Hi Tariq. It's going to be crazy for the women to wake up from the male gaze, wake up from the Lululand, wake up from male worshiping. And I think it's time. Yeah. Um these so-called high value men content that we were fed on and on and on the last 3 years until Kevin Samuels died, it was so toxic. It was so toxic that we had someone like this beautiful young lady, Reesa Teesa, literally saying, I was desperate and I wanted to be married. She had so much rosy over her eyes that she could not see from the very first date that God was sending her so many signs. So many signs on why she couldn't well, she shouldn't have gone on the date in the first place. But that's just that's just me. But we're gonna play that in a few. She's just giving her disclaimer right now. But I'll move forward with that so you guys can hear her part of the story that's really highlighting the beginning. The beginning of every story pretty much give you an overview of what's to come, because what you accept in the beginning is how the relationship will continue. The moment you let one small thing slide, the person is liable to be like, oh, you accepted level 1? Let me go into level 6. Let's crank this up. Let's crank up the craziness, right? And that's how a lot of men think. Thank you, Michelle. That's how a lot of men think. Are you willing to accept this? Oh, let's see how much you can accept. Let's see how much I can put on your plate. Let's see how much you can accept. Let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna fast forward her disclaimer. Disclaimer was pretty long. It was definitely unnecessary. So let's go with part 1. All right, let's do this.
I met my ex-husband around March 4th of 2020. We met on Facebook dating site, and we also matched on Hinge. I did not realize that he was on both under 2 different names. So one was his actual name, and the other one was a variation, like a nickname that he called himself. Different pictures. So it was a running joke between us. Oh, you ain't even recognize that you had matched with me on Hinge. No, I didn't. And also that should have been a red flag. By the way, you will notice in this story, I called it the United Nations of red flags. It is so many red flags that, I mean, you would have thought I was colorblind because I ignored all of them. So anyway, back to the story. We met around March 4th. We exchanged phone numbers. He called me and we talked on the phone for the first time. In the first phone call, he told me that he had just moved to Georgia from California, from San Diego. His job had transferred him because he was being transferred in as a new regional manager for a major condiment company that is based here in Georgia. I'm not going to say the name. And so we also talked about his childhood. He told me he grew up in Philly. He's from Philly. Both of his parents were deceased. This is the first phone call. Both of his parents were deceased. His father was a Philadelphia police officer. His mom was a teacher. He also told me he briefly lived in Augusta with his family. He had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. He also had 2 half-brothers on his dad's side. First phone call. So I'm just giving you guys the backstory. This was the first phone call we had. So we talked about family, we talked about friends, we talked about our jobs. At the time, I was working at Georgia State Patrol. And he knew this, and he just thought that was like, wow, so you work with troopers all day. Yes, I did. Also in that phone call, he explained to me that he used to play football. He explained that he used to play arena football. I know nothing about arena football. I know about NFL, I know about college, go Dogs, but I don't know anything about arena football. So he explained to me that he used to play arena football. He used to work at Apple in the off season of arena football. And I remember thinking on that phone call, oh, okay, good for you. I don't know anything about arena football. And I believe I did tell him that I don't know anything about arena football. That'll come into play later on. So he told me, I just moved here. My job is paying for my housing and they're helping me to look for a house. He was like, right now I'm in Gwinnett County, but I'm trying to look for a house, ideally in Atlanta, like Brookhaven, Sandy Springs. He was like, I really would like to move out there. And so I thought, that's great. You're looking to get a house. You just moved here. He was like, I don't really know too many people here because I spend all my time at work and, this job is really demanding. So that was our first phone call. We talked more. He talked a lot, which took me by surprise because I'm not really used to men talking more than me. He eventually asked.
That's the red flag right there. That's the red flag right there. Yeah. The moment a man starts chatting up too much on the phone, they're setting you up. They're setting you up. Setting you up. First of all, you tell me you play football professionally, I'm looking you up. I don't care if I've never heard of arena football. I am looking you up. I am Googling you. First quarter. She just said, okay, yeah. She just went along with it. Girl, what? I am looking you up. Give me your name. What's your full name? I'm going to look you up. What team again you played for? Baby, I'm looking you up. I don't care if it's not professional. I'm looking you up. You tell me you play for college football, San Diego? Oh yeah, I'm looking your name up and your photo. I am matching the photo to the photo that's on your dating. And on top of that, she said she met him on Facebook dating. Lord, the low life. The type of profiles that are on Facebook dating should be atrocious. Nobody should be on Facebook dating. I remember when it launched back in what was it, 2017? I signed up and I'm like, is this a glitch? And I looked through, I'm like, oh God, no. I removed myself immediately. It was so trash. So trash. I'm like, what is this? I like to look at all the features on Facebook because I like to use a lot of features. And I'm just like, what is this? And I'm in a lot of Facebook groups. When I say I'm in a lot of Facebook groups, and quite a few of them are women Facebook group. And those stories they share from being in Facebook dating should be considered mental illness. The type of profiles, actually, today was one of them. Let me look it up. Today was one of them. I was in this group. I was minding my business and I was scrolling my timeline on my little break. And one of them said, mind you, this man is just as big as Reesa Teesa. Nothing wrong with big men. I'm just saying it was the delusion for me. Oh, yeah, well, it's an actual thing. So let me go back to this group chat because I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. This is an actual post in the Facebook dating. Somebody took a screenshot of the profile because it felt like this man was delusional for what he's asking for. And hold on. I'm gonna find it for y'all because it was hilarious. I commented. So I'm trying to see my comment because people commented with my comment. So I'm trying to find it so I can respond back. And I think in his post he said no underage. And also he said you cannot have more than 10 bodies. You cannot be a massage therapist. This is from recollection of the post. Um, you, he had like one more job requirement that you can't be. And then he also said, the audacity, he also said, you must go Dutch on the first date and let me smash. And then after that, everything is on me. So we were all wilding out in the group, right? And in the comments. And I said to myself, so a woman with 10 bodies or less, you want her to go Dutch with you on the first date, let you be number 11 for the free? And you want her to give you number 11 just because? Just because you're a man? The man was 46 years old, for one. For one. Like, be for real. Be for real. Be for real. You know, stuff like that just gets me like illness. Anyway, so her first mistake was being unhinged and also on Facebook dating because well, actually, most dating sites are terrible anyway. However, Hinge is for people who are unhinged. They have nothing to lose. The people on Facebook dating also have nothing to lose. Baby, you were already in the wrong place. And I'm telling y'all right now who's watching me, who will watch this later, you are in the wrong place, sweetheart. Wrong place. Just delete all the dating apps. It's no use. Just delete them all. And then on top of that, on the first phone call, he's telling you he used to play arena football, and you're not looking him up. He moved from California. He played for the school, and you didn't look him up, girl. Okay, let's keep playing.
Asked me out on a date. Our first date was set for Saturday, March 7th, 2020. He asked me what was my favorite restaurant. I said Cheesecake Factory. And so we agreed to go out at the Cheesecake Factory in a location that was in between. I lived in Clayton County at the time. He lived in Gwinnett County. I realized that if you don't know anything about Metro Atlanta, that makes no sense. But basically, we lived about 45 minutes apart. So we agreed to meet at the Cheesecake Factory over at Perimeter Mall, which is in an area, Sandy Springs, Dunwoody area. I was excited. Like, I called my friends and was like, I got a date, you know, blah, blah, blah. We'll see how it goes. First conversation was good. Hopefully he looks like his pictures, because, you know.
I made a post recently when I said she lost me when she said she drove 45 minutes to a date to the Cheesecake Factory. So some people were like, well, it's Atlanta. That's a normal thing. No, it's not. No, it's not. I used to live in Atlanta. Okay? I used to live in Atlanta, and I've lived in 5 different places. I've lived in Marietta. I have lived in College Park. I've lived in Midtown. And then I finally settled no, hold on. Lithonia? I lived in Lithonia for a little bit. And then I finally settled in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Okay? Every city within a 15-minute radius have restaurants. You do not need to drive 45 minutes for no date. Like, be for real. Okay, sis? Be for real. Can we be for real? There were plenty of restaurants. If I wanted to drop down the street in Marietta and go on a date, there's no point. You do not need to get on 75 or 85 or the 100 or the I-20. Like, you don't need to do all that. Honestly, you don't. The moment you get on the phone and the man tell you, I gotta drive more than 30 minutes to this date, you know what? It's okay. Um, I don't think I want to do all that. Thank you. Have a great day. But I felt like she was so enthralled into the conversation of speaking with someone that she considered handsome, and that, with his accolades, she felt like, you know what, I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna drive 45 minutes. Couldn't be me. The moment, okay, like, honestly, if you're going to do long distance, have the person actually live another state away. Then it would make sense to travel to go see that person. If the person is in the same state as you and they live in the next town over and it's roughly an hour away, no. It's a no. It's a dub. It's a dub. I'm not driving for a date that far. Get me an Uber. Get me an Uber. Like, send a car. I'm not driving. No. It's a no from me. It's a no from me. It's a no from me. Loudwine is not driving that far for no man. For a date. For a first date at least. Not, especially not when she said it's a cheesecake factory. There's a cheesecake factory in almost every city. Well, let me not say that. There's a cheesecake factory within a decent radius of each other. So what we're not going to do is act like there's no other restaurants locally that you can go to. All right? All right.
That's always an issue with online dating. Hopefully he looks like his pictures. So on my way to our date, I took 285, and literally right before I got to Boulder Crest, the exit for Boulder Crest, I heard a boom and I lost control of my car. Thank God that not thank God, but I knew what to do. So I did not crash, but my tire blew out. So I called him and I said, hey, I'm so sorry, but my tire just blew on 285. I'm slowly making my way off the exit. I believe I pulled into a Chevron gas station, and I said, I got to get this fixed. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm a damsel in distress kind of thing. He kind of paused. He got quiet and he was like, tell me exactly where you are. Drop your pin. So I dropped the pin and he came to the gas station, got out the car. And I was so relieved that he actually looked like his pictures that I was like, oh my God, he's actually attractive, because he's like 6'4", 6'5". Also, man, I apologize. So let me go back to the first conversation. Let me add something. He did tell me in the first phone call that he was divorced, and that his ex-wife, she had 2 children, a boy and a girl, who were teenagers, young adults. I think the girl was about 20, and he said that he had a very close relationship with his stepkids, but that he and his ex-wife had divorced because she cheated on him out in California, and so coming to Georgia was a new beginning for him. She was still out in California. The kids were still out in California, and so. He was like, I can't stand her, but I still want to be in the kids' lives. I have to put that in there because that will come back later. So this is just setting the stage. Again, that first conversation we talked about family, job, friends, how he ended up in Georgia, me being in Georgia, the things that, I would think people talk about in the first conversation. All right, now back to the tire blew out. So he shows up to the gas station. He changes my tire, which I just thought was the sexiest thing in the world. And then he proceeds to say, hey, I found a tire place around the corner. You need to get another tire. Like, you can't drive on this donut. So he followed me to the tire place, and then helped me get a tire, paid for it. So I was definitely like, wow. And so the vibe was good. So anyway, I get the tire fixed. We follow each other to the Cheesecake Factory over in Perimeter. We hold hands walking into the Cheesecake Factory. So in my mind, I'm like, this is just this. Oh my God, I had butterflies. That's the look of a woman who had butterflies. So I had butterflies. And we go in. There's a long.
All right, let's pause this for a second. Um, the first sign that God was trying to save you was your car was your tire blowing up. Hmm. That was a sign. Don't go on the date. God was trying to save you, sis. Don't go on the date. He could see that you were on your way to danger. On your way to danger. I'm gonna tell you this. I know like Haitians have superstitions and people be like, "Oh my God, I had a dream. You shouldn't go out." I listen to those dreams. I sure do. I sure do. I will listen to when somebody tell me I had a dream, don't go outside, and I'm gonna stay my butt home. Because why would I go outside? I have no reason to be outside if it's imminent danger for me. Anytime something happened to my car, baby, I'm not going nowhere. If I see there is traffic, I'm not going. If I heard there's an accident on over the road, I'm not going. I am turning around. I am turning the car around. Because what do you mean? I am quick to turn the car around. What you mean? Baby, I can't make it. I'm sorry. Something came up. I can't come. I can't come. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I'm the type to turn around. On my mama, I am the type to turn around. That was your first sign, baby. When that tire blew up, that was your sign to go to cancel the date. But in true homosexual fashion, he's like, you know what? How much is the price of a tire? Let's look that up. How much is a tire? I don't know. What, like $70? $75? Right? It it depends on how big, or if it's just like a regular car. I mean, her car looks like a regular car to me, so give and take $75 for a tire. If I'm gonna go on a date and we might spend 150, what's 150 to a real boss? You know what I'm saying? You already lied saying that you are a regional manager at your job. So cuff up the money. Where are the funds? Show me proof of show me proof of funds, bro. You said you're regional manager. What's up? My tire blew out. Let me show out. Show me you are a gentleman, like you said on the phone. You were a ball player, right? Come rescue me. I'm a damsel in distress. Come rescue me. Please help me. My tire blew out. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm on the side of the road. Please come help me. Please. Save me, please. Yeah. He had to show up. Otherwise, he would look like a chump. He would look like he was lying. He had to show up. He was already lying. He might as well go along with the lie. The lie was you have money. The lie was you just moved from California, where it's a higher income bracket over there. Of course, not higher income bracket. It's a higher cost of living over there. So Georgia should be a lot less for you. So come on. He had to show up and be a gentleman. He had to. He had to continue with the illusion that he has money. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Yeah. Come be my Prince Charming. You say you got money? Come be my Prince Charming. Let's continue.
Long wait. And so we sit outside and we just talk. And the conversation is great. And this is where he tells me what it is he's looking for. He tells me, I believe at the time he was 42. He was like, I want to get married and it be for real. He's like, my parents were married 40 plus years before my mom passed away. And I want that. I want marriage, family, a house. Like, that is what I want. He's like, I'm as a man, I'm ready to get married, but I want it to be for real, because the first time, it really hurt me when she cheated on me. So he's telling me everything that I wanted to hear. And so he was like, what is it that you want? And I said pretty much the same thing. I was like, I'm ready to get married. Definitely want to have a family. And I want to marry my best friend. So we both put on the table that we wanted marriage. And this is the end of part 1. All right. Who the fuck did I marry? Part 2. So we both put on the table what it is that we wanted. We both had established we were dating for marriage. We were not dating just to date. We were not trying to be friends with benefits and none of that. So the dinner at Cheesecake Factory went really well. We laughed, we joked, we talked about people, which is kind of up my alley, my sense of humor. It was a good vibe. So at the end of the date, at the end of dinner, we sat in his car and he played this song for me by John Legend. I don't know the name of the song. By the time this video posts, I will put the name at the bottom. I can't remember the song. I just remember that John Legend was talking about, I think I met my wife tonight. And I thought it was a sign. So I was like, oh my God. So anyway, we ended up sitting in the car talking just about life and experiences until about midnight. So during this conversation, he again is telling me how it was, what it was like living in California, how he went out there, he went to San Diego State, he played football for San Diego State. He talked about how, life, he loved it out there, so he stayed. That's when he joined the company. And then he explained that he also did arena football, but only did it for about 2 or 3 years. He claims that while he was doing arena football, the team that he was on won a championship. But again, keep in mind, I don't know anything about arena football. So I was like, okay, I didn't know they had championships. And he was like, he got a little offended, like, yeah, they got championships. And, he was on that team. So he talked to me about how he worked at Apple. He worked something in the IT area of Apple, but it was in the store. Again, it was one of those, it's like when I tell people I used to work at Amazon, I really wasn't paying much attention to it. Why? So we talked about all that. We talked deeply into what happened with the ex-wife. It's because I asked. He was not volunteering all this information. So in other words, I get very uncomfortable when men start talking about their ex a lot. That's not what happened. I was asking questions because I was really trying to figure out, okay, are you ready for a relationship, or are you still missing her? So we talked about that. We talked about my exes. That was a mistake I made because I talked about how I dated at one point in time somebody I worked with. That will come back later. And he seemed real cool about it. He was like, that was before me and blah, blah, blah. So the conversation was good. Midnight comes and I go home. Yes, I went home. We ended up talking. Mind you, our first date was March 7th. And within about 2.5 weeks, Brian Kemp, our governor, shut Georgia down. We were going to be on lockdown. So during those 2.5 weeks, we talked every day. We went out again at Red Lobster. I remember Red Lobster. But everything was going great. The issue was, where are we going to quarantine? So the question was, are we going to quarantine at his place, which he had like a studio type of situation? Like, it clear where he was staying. I was like, it's like a studio apartment, but he kept telling me like, this is temporary because I'm looking for a house. Like, he showed me the email from a woman who worked at the company where she was out on maternity leave, but she was putting him in contact with a realtor to help him find a townhome or a single family house. So I was just like, okay, this is definitely temporary. Like, he's not trying to stay here long term. And she was apologizing in the email. I'm so sorry. This should have been taken care of before you got here, but it wasn't. Da, 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 da. I saw the email. I read it. I read the email. So the decision was, we're going to quarantine at the studio, or are we going to quarantine in my house? First mistake I made. Well, there's a lot, but this was a mistake.
Ma'am, you met this man 2 weeks ago and you want him to quarantine in your house? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Sister girl, what do you mean? Can you explain that to me? I don't comprehend. I don't understand. What do you mean by that, ma'am? M'pa comprendre bagay sa même. Like, what do you mean? You want him to do what? To move in where? At your house? No. No man should ever move in with you. If anything, make him get you a place together, a new place. I wouldn't, you, I don't think it should be where you move in into the man's place. That was his place. So he liked the way that he has his own place. However, you need a place where the both of you come together and each of you pick what goes with both of your taste in the household. The house is designed and styled per the person's liking. So why would you bring a grown man to live in your house? And on top of that, she said this man lived a in a what do you call it? In a studio apartment, in somewhat of a studio apartment. Girl, that man live in efficiency. You should have been honest. That man does not live in a, because it doesn't make sense. So like he was going to break his lease to come move in with you after 2 weeks of meeting you. This is someone that you said just moved from California and is a regional manager at a condiment company in Georgia. You want me to understand the job did not relocate him with some funds? A lot of times when the job asks you, are you willing to relocate? They help with that relocation funding. Okay? And that means they put you up in a nice apartment, not no studio / efficiency, girl. Why you didn't say he live in efficiency hotel? I know why. Because you didn't want to seem like you chose a homosexual. It's okay. It's okay. A lot of women are ashamed that they've dealt with a homosexual because they would have never thought they would ever stoop so low. Or they've been bamboozled, like Reesa got bamboozled to think that this man had things that he didn't have. And it's really sad. Honestly, it's really sad because you want to trust what the person tells you from the beginning, right? Because you have no reason to lie to me. And this is why she said she married a pathological liar, because they necessarily don't have a reason. They just lie just because. Just because. There's no theory behind it. There's no why do you do this? They just do, because that's just a part of who they are. They just do. There is no reason for him to lie to this woman. She has no stake in him. She hasn't like labored with him at all. We just met, right? I'm not like there's no reason to shame you for having a regular job. However, you had to augment your reality to gain someone for what? What is the reason? Like Cardi B says, what was the reason? What is the reason, right? Why? Mm-mm-mm. Come on.
Got made. So, ladies, caution moment. During one of our dates, Because keep in mind, in those 2 weeks, we were seeing each other quite a bit. Nothing physical or anything like that. Just two people who I thought were really on some. All right, let's see if this is going if this is going to grow into something. He came to my house. When he came to my house, I had a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome. He was in a studio. Now, I'm telling you guys all of this in order of how it happened. So some things I'm probably going to insert what I was thinking and the mistake I made. Can I turn this off? No. Okay, still need that. And I say that to say that I did not realize inviting him to my home probably made his eyes go, oh shit, she's a keeper. She got this 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhouse, and I'm in like a little studio. Yeah, let me go ahead and pursue this. What I need to do to quarantine here. The decision was made, quarantine at my house. So the state went on lockdown. He came and stayed with me in my home, and for the most part, in the initial beginning, it was fine. It was fine. The reason why I hesitate is because I grew up in the church. So for me, it was really like an internal struggle of, bruh, you always said you would never live with a guy unless he was your husband. And now you living with a dude and he ain't your husband. Like, it was a struggle for me because I knew better. And don't come for me. I'm just telling you the way I grew up. It was like that. It was not sitting right with me. But at the same time, I didn't want to quarantine by myself. I did not want to. So there we go. So he moved in. We talked about the bills. Let me clear something up that I said in the other video where I said he paid all the bills. He paid all the household bills. He did not pay my car payment, my cell phone, or my car insurance. He paid the rent because my rent at the time was less than $1,000. He paid the utility bills. And so when he's telling me that he's a regional manager, I was like, wow, okay, so you got money.
Sorry, I had to go get my charger for this laptop. Okay, this is where you messed up at. Her words were, oh, she got her stuff together. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and move in. And that's exactly what he said. Yeah. Yeah. He was like, oh, this is where I'm gonna be at. I done made it. You show this man you live in a townhouse, 3-bedroom townhouse, and he live in a efficiency. Oh girl, yeah. He hit the jackpot on you. He hit the jackpot on you, sister girl. Oh yeah. He said yeah. Oh no. I'm definitely going to keep her. Yeah. Yeah, you were a keeper, all right. To someone who wanna use you. Yeah. 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 To a homosexual, yeah. He hit the jackpot. He's like, oh. You know what I can't stand? When a man call a woman big money. Pocket watching. Hey, big money. Oh, you live alone? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to cross my legs. Oh, you live alone? Let me pull up. It's the same concept. If a man find out you live by yourself, they're going to find a way to pull up to your house. Better yet, if your house look nice, they're going to try to move in there. They are. They will try to see, okay, what is my investment for keeping her since you're a keeper? Yeah. Since you're someone that I consider, wifey material. Women like to really think that men see them as wifey material when in reality, like they see you to use you. But that's besides the conversation today. But I just know, like, if it comes out of his mouth, he mean it. He mean it exactly how he said it. Exactly how he said it. Oh, wow. Ooh. 3-bedroom? What? It's the life of a homosexual. It's the jackpot. It's the lottery jackpot. He was like, oh, if I'm paying give and take $500 a week at this efficiency, because it's so temporary. I've never known a studio apartment be so temporary. An apartment is a full-on 1-year contract. There's no such thing as temporary. If it's a true apartment that you live in. So if you tell me in 2 weeks you're supposed to move in with this woman, you're going to break your lease after meeting a woman after 2 weeks? A lot of men are not that dense. They're not making these decisions unless you are a bum. Unless you're a bum, they're not making these decisions. They're not. And then also, the moment this man says, I'm looking for a wife, within the first conversations, run. That man is lying. That man is lying through his teeth, and you need to run far. You need to run far from that type of man immediately. Immediately. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. I'm looking for a wife. Do you know how hard most men are to commitment? We have married men right now cheating on their wives. And you think from the very first date, the phone call before the date, this man says, I'm looking for a wife, and you took him seriously? Of course, this is hindsight 2020. She's telling her story now. But I'm trying to tell you, as a woman who's watching me right now, understand this from my mouth. If he tells you he's looking for a wife within the first few conversations, run. Run. He's going to put you through hell, and he means nothing. He means nothing he says. Men like to go based on actions. Nothing they say can be taken at face value unless there is action involved. There are men right now who drag women to 10 years before they marry them. You mean to tell me he want to marry you off the rip? He said he looking for a wife, and he playing the music. I think I met my wife tonight. That is love bombing. They don't mean none of that. They don't mean it at all, sis. They do not mean it at all. I want you to hear me. I don't care if you tall, short, skinny, thick, or BBW. Like, don't believe him at all. Don't believe him. On average, it takes about 2 or 3 years to actually get engaged. Don't believe no man who tell you first quarter that he want to be married. Like, be for real. This man was what? 42? 42? And the last thing he told you about his ex-wife, that she cheated on him? If that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. The moment a man start bad mouthing their previous partners, it's a dub. Let him go. There's no point. There's no point. There is no point of continuing at all. No point.
Money. And so he paid all the household bills. So my check really was just taking care of me, myself, and I. And I am not, this is where it's not going to make me look good, but it's the truth. It was intoxicating to not have to worry financially about how to pay the bills. It was a wonderful feeling. And so I kind of pushed to the side the fact that, yeah, you shacking up, because it's like, but your paycheck, you don't have to worry right now. Like, he's taking care of all of April's bills before April even comes, because this was still March. So we're living together. And I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, he's helping to cook and clean. And then we had a conversation about house. Is he still going to buy a house just for him? Or is he going to buy a house where it's for us? Because we are going to try to make this thing work, be official, get married, have a family. So the question now on the table is, what are we going to do? Because I didn't want to stay in Riverdale, Georgia. I did not want to raise a family there. I refused to have a baby in Clayton County. So the decision was made, let's start looking for a house for both of us. Remember, he was already looking for a house for him. But then he was like, you know what? We're together. I plan to marry you. Let's look for a family home for the two of us. He was like, this is how much I was approved for. That's when he showed me the Chase paperwork. It was a letter stating that and it had the Chase emblem at the top. He showed me a letter stating that he was approved for $700. All right, part 3. Who the fuck did I marry? So this is when he showed me a letter from Chase with the Chase logo at the top, stating that he had been approved for a mortgage for a $750,000 mortgage or $750,000 house. So he was like, we can't go over $750,000. And I said, I remember asking him, can you afford the mortgage on a $750,000 house? Because I know I can. This is when he explains to me, I told you how I played arena football. I invested my money really well. So he said, I have money that will help pay for the mortgage. He was like, we're good. Like, I'm financially, I am okay. He was like, that's why I'm able to get approved for a $750,000 mortgage. So he told me that his money was in different savings accounts. He said he had an account with Chase Bank, he had an account with US Bank, and he had an offshore account. This is what he told me. The offshore account, I was like, why? And he explained something about, the US, the US imposes taxes on money when you have a certain amount in US banks. He was like, so everybody knows that it's smart to have some money in an offshore account. Y'all, look, I live paycheck to paycheck. I was like, okay, that's whatever. I said, so you have the money to pay for a home. I'm also holding in my hand a letter from Chase saying that he was approved for $750,000. So I went off of what I saw. So we contacted a realtor. I won't say his name, but man, if he ever sees this TikTok, I owe this man such an apology. But we contacted a realtor who was based in Cobb County, because I was very adamant I wanted to move back to Marietta, Smyrna area in Cobb County, Georgia. He was fine with that. His whole attitude was, you're going to be my wife, happy life. So we met a realtor. I would find houses that I wanted to tour. Keep in mind that this was COVID. So at the time, we could not tour a home. It would have to be a virtual tour. So this particular realtor, we found a house in Douglasville, Georgia. Not Cobb County, but nevertheless, it's in Douglasville. I was fine with Douglasville. So we found a house in Douglasville, Georgia. The realtor did a FaceTime tour of the house. The house was a nice home. 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. So we did a FaceTime tour of the home, and the home was listed, I believe, for roughly 400 and something thousand. I really like the house. I could see myself living there. I could see us living there. I could see us with the kid there. This is now April, just for timeline purposes. This is April. So he really liked the house. He was like, you know what? We'll put an offer in on the house. He was like, if you like it, because again, it was COVID. We weren't going to be able to see the house in person because the family still lived there. So he said, I'll put an offer in. We'll see if it's accepted. I said, okay. So he puts an offer in. He's telling me he put an offer in. I need to clarify some things he told me and the things that I actually saw. So for this house in Douglasville, he told me.
The amount of fraud that happens under Chase is crazy. I'm gonna tell you right now, any paperwork that has Chase on it, I don't believe it. The amount of people that do fraud through Chase is wild. I used to live in Georgia, okay? It's fraud city over there. Okay? Like, I don't believe anything with paperwork that has Chase logo at the top. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I think it's almost as close as Bank of America. Like, the fraud is fraud city. The scammers, this is mostly what they use. So I'm sorry, like, she didn't know, but like, an approval letter from Chase that says he got approved for $700,000 for a mortgage. I'm no realtor, right? But qualifying yourself means like they have to run your credit and actually have proof of funds, right? So I'm speaking from the concept that I've watched all the parts though. But there's some things that are spiking up for me. So let me get this straight. You only believe the paperwork. This man said he has an account with Chase, he has an account with USA Bank, and he has an offshore account because he wants to hide his money from the IRS. A man with real money put his money in investment accounts. Let's be for real, okay? Let's be for real, ladies. The key word here is portfolio, okay? Real man with money has portfolio. They don't really put money in an offshore account. There's no return on that. There's no real return on that. Like let's be honest, okay? The key word here is a portfolio where it's actually specifically diversified portfolio. That means they have their money sprinkled here, sprinkled here, sprinkled there, sprinkled over here, sprinkled a little bit over there, and they each are giving him what they call a return, an interest rate, a rate of return on their money, okay? And that can mean wherever they chose to put the money at. If it's in an IRA, give and take, he's going to make 5 to 7% on his money. A mutual fund between give and take, 8 to 12% return on his money. Stocks, bonds, like arena football. And he took his money and put it into an offshore account where it's not making no money? Okay. This is not for Reesa. I'm not coming for Reesa. I'm just saying, like, ladies, if you hear these things from another man, I'm telling you, this is not real. Okay? You need to see him go through the app on his phone, watch him log in. To see the proof of funds, you need to see it with your own 2 eyes, okay? You need to see the money. You need to see the money. You need to see it with your own 2 eyes. Not no paper, because papers can be typed up. And knowing that I know now about this story is that it was all fake. It was all fake documents. Fake documents. You don't just accept any document out here. You don't. You cannot. You cannot. Like, you need proof of funds. Send the proof of funds. Where is the money?
He was putting an offer in. The realtor would call me because one thing that the realtor told us, he was like, if the woman likes the house, typically the house is going to get bought. So he kind of dealt with me a bit more than he did my ex-husband. And again, this is April 2020. This is before we got married. So at the time, he was my boyfriend. So the realtor was calling me and was like, hey, I put the offer in, and what they're asking for is proof of funds. And I did not know anything at this time about buying a house. So I was like, hey, you probably need to talk to him because I'm not even listed on the mortgage. Like, from the paperwork I saw, it was only in his name. So he called him. I guess they talked. I was not there, but I'm assuming that they had talked. So the boyfriend is coming, my ex is coming home saying, yeah, I talked to so-and-so. I sent him over the paperwork. The offer was approved. And They are going to try to do a virtual closing. First, we got to do an inspection. If the inspection goes all well, then we have to do a virtual closing. He also told me that he put down earnest money on the home. He put down, I believe, $5,000. He said, I just transferred the money over to the realtor's account or whatever, so that it could be earnest money for the house. So I'm just like, okay, great. He was like, so realistically, this is April. We should be able to get in that house by June. Okay, no problem. So this is what he told me. About 3 or 4 days later, I get a phone call from the realtor. And the realtor is like, hey, I'm just checking to see what you guys want to do about that house. So I was confused. I'm at work. And I said, oh, I was told that he put an offer in. And the realtor was like, he did? I didn't know that he put an offer in. And I said, well, why wouldn't you know? Like, he told me he put the offer in, and he had paid earnest money, $5,000 earnest money. And so the realtor was like, well, let me call him and find out what's going on with that, because I didn't know anything about it. So red flag, of course. So I call him, and he, in true narcissistic nature, he flips the script, and he like goes off. He's like cussing, going off, like he shouldn't, excuse me, I have the hiccups. He shouldn't be calling you. If he has a question, he should call me, because I'm the one that's on a mortgage. He was like, and now it's going to be an issue. And I said, well, did you put the offer in with him or not? And he said, no, I did not put the offer in with him. I put the offer in with a friend of mine who is a realtor, so I can give him the business. So I did not hear from that realtor again. So I was just like, is the house under contract or is it not? He was like, yes, the house is under contract. This is how crazy things work out. About 3 days later, on realtor.com, I'm looking at the house because I was trying to figure out in my mind how I'm gonna decorate. It shows the house is under contract. So show my boyfriend. My boyfriend's like, I told you it was under contract. He was like, I did you not believe me? And I ain't had a heart to say, hell no, I didn't believe you. Like, it seemed too good to be true. But once I saw the house was under contract, I absolutely believe that, okay, it's under contract with him. Like, yeah, we're about to do inspection. We are about to move. And so we had driven by the house because, again, keep in mind, the family's still living there. So we had driven by the house. At this point, he was like, I want us to start looking for furniture so that way we can go ahead and order it. So when it's time to move, the furniture is ready, because, it takes like 6 to 8 weeks sometimes for furniture to be delivered if they don't have it in stock. Like, he was very methodical and planning and saying, this is what we need to do. So we started going to Home Depot, Lowe's, because we had a printout of what the sellers were going to take. They were going to take the appliances. He had a printout. Let me be clear. He had a printout. So it said on there that they were going to take the appliances. So we needed to get a new stove, new refrigerator, new microwave, all that stuff. So we went to Home Depot and Lowe's, and I went ham. I chose all these new appliances, and here's where we get into the shopping. All right, part 4. So we go to Home Depot, we go to Lowe's. I'm choosing all these appliances. He's taking pictures of the SKU number. We have representatives helping us, and he basically explains to them, hey, we're buying a house. We should be closing sometime in June. Can we order this stuff now? Can I put a hold on it? Like, what can we do? Because we're not ready for delivery. I stood there. As the Home Depot rep said, we can hold it in our warehouse. Like, you can buy something and we can hold it. People do it all the time, especially with COVID. So I watched him pay. I want to say it was either $350 or $500. I watched him pay a deposit on a whole new set of appliances for them, and they were going to hold it until we were ready for delivery. I watched this. So I was like, okay, good deal. Like, we got the appliances. Next, let's go to room.
Is this man going through the motion of having her get excited to purchase a home knowing he has no money? Yay. Diabolical. Having her go through the emotions of looking at furniture, putting furniture on hold, knowing very well he has no intent of purchasing that house. No intent of buying any house at all, with no money. That is diabolical. Like you have me looking at homes, you have me working with a realtor, you have me calling this man all the time, going through house to house for virtual tours, knowing you have a fake chase letter saying you qualify for a home that is up to $700,000. Do you see how wild that is? Rolling around lying that you work as a regional manager of a company, knowing that you're lying about that, but you have this fake letter, you have these grown people who's a realtor working real hard to find you a house because they thought you had the money to buy this house, knowing dang well you are not going to buy nothing. You know how crazy it is to have me at Home Depot looking at stuff and putting stuff on hold and putting the deposit down, thinking like I'm going, like the intricate level of intertwining the emotions to no reward is a sickening job. Sickening job. Knowing you have no proof of funds. Wow. Acting like you put money down, earnest money. I don't know what that is. I'm not a realtor. So you put this so-called earnest money down to hold down the house, knowing dang well you have no money in the bank to buy this house. Having me scroll online for bedroom furniture, living room furniture, thinking like this man that I just met, who has been a gentleman to me from day one, paying bills, helping me with my bills, thinking like I found my Prince Charming, and you sitting up in my house thinking that I have a future with you and I don't. And he really think this is okay. Let's keep going. We're almost done.
Let's go in Ashley Furniture and find actual furniture. So we went all around Rooms to Go. We went to Ashley Furniture. We went to American Signature. And I saw all these things that I wanted. Again, he's taking pictures of it. He was like, I can go online and order it. I didn't think anything of it because, again, I just saw that we held the appliances. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So April turns into May. May 2020 comes. This is where things start to get a little interesting. May comes, and obviously we had not done inspection. And I'm asking him all the time, what's the deal with the house? He was like, oh, because of COVID, they're trying to get someone to do the inspection. But the guy that it was always something. The guy they had caught COVID, so they're going to have to get somebody else. And he's like 15 houses backed up, so it'll be a while. So at this point in May, I know I look crazy. In this point in May of 2020, I started recording audio diaries. I don't know why. It was something just made me just start recording my thoughts in an audio diary, and I still have them. And I would save them by the date, and I would just start talking about what's on my mind. So I was like, I knew there was something was nagging me, like, but I kept pushing it out of my mind. I was like, you saw this is what I reminded myself. You saw him pay for the appliances. You know the house is under contract. You know that he told you that he's the one who put the house under contract. Why would, I remember saying to myself, why would he lie about that? This is so easy to verify. Why would he lie about that? Have you caught him in any other lie? And at the time, the answer was no. So I really was like, maybe you just aren't used to a guy who actually does what he's supposed to do. Like I was questioning myself and then answering my own questions. So inspection didn't happen. Around mid-May, I found out I was pregnant. May 2020. When I found out I was pregnant, he was ecstatic and I was like, oh shit. The reason why I was oh shit is because number one, I'm plus size. Number two, because of my age, I felt like it was probably gonna be a high risk pregnancy. And I wasn't married. And that nagged. I cannot tell y'all how much it nagged me. There was a lot of internal struggle in between. My family didn't even know that he had moved in at this point. I told them, that I was pregnant, went to the doctor, everything looked good. But again, because it was COVID, he couldn't go in with me into the actual room. So, doing any sort of ultrasound, doing the blood test, because my HCG levels were really high. So the doctor was like, hey, it might be twins. We don't know yet. You're still kind of early, along. They gave me a due date. Due date was January 26th of 2021. So, yeah, May, found out I was pregnant. So there was now more of a push into, we got to get a house. We got to get the fuck up out of here. I'm not having a baby in Riverdale. Okay, nothing against Riverdale, but I ain't having a baby in Riverdale. So we need to find out what's going on with this house. And so he was on top of it. He had an answer for everything. He was like, I'm gonna call and find out what's going on, blah, blah, blah. He then magically told me about a week later, oh, they're going to do inspection on the house like in 2 days. So I was just like, okay, keep in mind, I'm taking his word for it. I'm taking his word for all this. So he's like, they're going to do an inspection. Once we get the inspection report back, then we will know what we are going to be responsible for. What are we getting ourselves into? So, I guess they did an inspection. He showed me an inspection report. The only thing that they said that the roof had just recently been replaced, which I remember he was very happy about. And the issues that there were for the house were minor. It was not a bad, because we did have a discussion about it. He was like, it's nothing that we can't handle. Then he said that we were set to close the end of May. We were set to close the end of May. He told me it was going to be a virtual closing. You're probably like, what the hell is a virtual closing? Because again, he's saying because of COVID, people are not closing in the office. They're doing a virtual closing where you would need to electronically sign the paperwork. This is what he's telling me. And so he was like, we're set to close like just before Memorial Day. And so for some reason, again, there's still that nagging part. For some reason, I didn't start packing. Anyone that knows me will tell you I hate moving. I've done it enough in my life. I hate moving. But I did not start packing up that house at all. I was just like, I'm pregnant. My body was changing so fast that it was like I could barely keep my eyes open half the day. And so, no, I didn't start packing. And I remember I did record, again, I was recording audio diaries just about every day. When something didn't sit right, I would verbally record it in the audio diary because I was like, I don't know what it is, but there's something. That was the theme of our relationship. I don't know.
Your intuition is often always right. We have, as women, our intuition is always good to listen to. We're never, it has yet to fail me. She knew in her gut something was wrong. She knew in the deepest of her soul something was off. She knew. She knew something was off. And I don't blame her for thinking something was off because it definitely was. Something was off. She's like, you have to be deep in the trenches to start recording your thoughts. Am I tripping or am I tripping? You must be in the trenches to start writing. She's not even writing. She's recording herself. Today is February 27th. And this Negro told me this and this and this and this. This does not make sense. But he told me on March 15, 2021, this and this happened, but this is not adding up. And then the next day, today is January 26th. I caught this mug in a lie today. Because I could have sworn I recorded myself on January 7th that he was supposed to send the proof of funds to the realtor, and he never did. And he had me put furniture on hold for a house I would never get. Am I tripping? You are. You are. And your gut is telling you so immediately. Your intuition is telling you exactly what it is. However, you done messed up and you got pregnant. And I think at every turn, shout out to her family for being praying women, because at every turn, God tried to save her. I'm sorry. They tried to save her. First, it was the tire blowing out on the first date. Second, it was the document that he signed by himself because he wanted to get this house that never went to fruition, because the original, the first house, it's been 5 different houses, I promise you. This is like a 50-story series. However, it's 5 houses overall from what I counted, right? We're on house number 2 right now. However, in house number 1, they didn't go through with it because the owner of the house did not want to rebuild the basement. So they went with somebody else. Now, what if they did? What if the owner wanted to fix the basement? They would have added the cost, from my understanding of realty. Correct me if I'm wrong, for any realtor out here. Don't you add that cost to the house? That would have made it over the asking price of this fake approval letter from Chase that he cannot go over 700K. So that was God saving you from debt, sister girl, because you would have put yourself down too. Because you were so in love with this man who give you nothing. 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 And then now we on house number 2, and they're still going through this yaya of going back and forth. And then now he has you emotionally invested into reserving Ashley Home furniture for a house he knows he has no money to buy. And now you're pregnant, and he's still trying to go through this foolery of trying to purchase a house that he knows he does. He just keep buying time. Keep buying time. Just keep you on this rat race of never ending cycle and mumbo jumbo. He got you so wrapped up that you start voice recording yourself to make sure you're not the Lulu. This is how gaslighting happens. You know you're not crazy, but this person making you feel like you crazy, and you know you're not. You know in your right mind something is off, but you just can't put your finger on it until you start putting 2 and 2 together, because 2 + 2 = 4, and right now nothing is adding up. Nothing is adding up in this story at all. At all. Where is the proof of funds? Where is this job? I'm pregnant. I need the money. Like, no, like you know you're not crazy. And sometimes like the man will make you feel like you going crazy, and you know you're right in the mind. You know you're right in the mind for sure. You're not crazy. He making you feel like you're crazy. You did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. I promise. The moment, like, if you get to a point in a relationship where you have to start journaling or voice record yourself to make sure you're not tripping, baby, let that man go. Let that man go. There's no point. There's no point. Reesa Teesa just knew something was off. Something was off. Let's keep playing. We're almost done. We're almost done in this part.
Know what it is, but I know there's something. And so I remember talking to myself in my little prayer closet, because that's where I would do my recordings. And I remember thinking, what if we don't get this house? Like, what if he's lying? But again, there goes that thought process of, why would he lie about this? Like, who makes up that they're buying a house when in fact they're not? And then he's showing you all this paperwork. Like, come on, you can't be that jaded that you don't even believe what's in front of you. All right. So now we're going to go into part 5. Okay, part 5. Who the fuck did I marry? So I'm questioning all this stuff in my head out loud on my audio diaries. And then once again, I'm like, but look at what he's giving you. Like, he's paying. It wasn't a question about money. It was just a question of, are we really about to move into this house? And keep in mind, he's paying all the household bills. He still is. So we're supposed to close before Memorial Day. We didn't. There was an excuse. There was always an excuse with him. Always an excuse. And I didn't know enough about the process to question stuff because I really wasn't involved the way I should have been. And it was giving me a lot of anxiety. So I'm pregnant with a lot of anxiety. And if I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all, I was not expecting that I was probably going to have a healthy pregnancy because I was stressed. And what I was stressed about is I didn't know what was going on because I wasn't really involved the way that a normal relationship would be involved. Just being honest. So we did not close. We moved now into June. This is now going into June. Around June 5th, I looked at the house again on realtor.com. I don't know what made me do it other than, and I don't mean to sound super spiritual. I know that people are like, you may or may not believe in God, but I'm telling you, I believe with all my heart. Probably the Holy Spirit was like, look at that house on realtor.com. So I looked at the house on realtor.com. This was around June 5th. It showed that the house was off the market. And I remember being like, okay, wait, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because ex-husband is telling me we're about to close on the house. We're about to close. It's our house. We got furniture, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. He's also telling me that he's been in contact with the realtor, his friend, who was telling him, this is what was happening next. Here's what's going on. So the guy that we initially worked with apparently is completely out of the picture. But again, I was not heavily involved. So I'm just like, let me look at the house. I see it's off market. What the fuck does off market mean? Like, now I'm really freaking out. So it shows the name of the real estate agent for the seller. I don't remember her name. I called her and I said, I said, my husband and I, even though I wasn't married, my husband and I were looking at this house at 123 Main Street. And we really wanted to tour it, but now I'm showing it's off market. Is it not available? Or, I pulled that card and she was like, oh, no, ma'am. The home closed yesterday. It closed June 4th. Again, there's certain dates I just remember. And I said, oh, it closed June 4th? I was like, really? And she said, yes, ma'am. She was like, my sellers sold the house. And I was like, oh, man, okay. Well, I said, my husband and I really wanted, we love the pictures of it. And we're getting ready to start a family. So I would have loved to have been able to, have the opportunity to see it. I asked her something. I don't remember the specific question I asked her. And I know why I asked the question because I was anticipating that my boyfriend at the time was going to have some sort of excuse. So I asked her something about the buyers. And I remember, and somehow, again, forgive me, I don't remember the question I asked her. But the answer was that it was an older white couple. So I get off the phone with her. I record an audio diary. And in the audio diary, I specifically say, okay, there is no house. He's going to have to get out of this lie somehow. Because now I realize, at the very least, he was lying about him being the one who was under contract. I knew enough about that. So I was like, what, how is he going to get out of this? Again, I've listened to the audio diary in 2024. I literally said in that audio diary, how is he going to get out of this lie? And I was trying to think of ways on how he's going to do it. And something said to me, because I say it on the audio diary, I said, he's going to say it's a bad deal. And he's going to say he wants to pull out. Y'all keep in mind, I am pregnant. So I had a decision to make. As ugly as this decision was, I made the decision you're about to have a baby with this man. He's paying all the household bills. Let him get out of the lie. And that's what I did. I purposely made the decision that I knew he was going to come back, and I knew he was going to give me some bullshit on why he couldn't buy the house, because he didn't know that I knew that house is already sold. The house is already sold. And this is the part where I said, I'm gonna be honest, even though it's gonna make me look bad, because most women in their right mind would have been like, I'm out, and I didn't. So, sure enough, he came home. He didn't really say anything that day. The next day, I asked him about the house, and he said, my friend, the realtor, he was like, I'm talking to him because something's going on with the interest rate. And when he said that, I felt so much relief, because I knew that I had been prepared for he's going to give me some bullshit. So when he said there's something with the interest rate, I said, you know what? If this is literally what I said, y'all. If the interest rate isn't good, then we shouldn't move there. We should probably let this house go. We should cancel whatever furniture we ordered, or appliances, and let's just look for another house. I said I would like to be moved before the end of the year. I said I really don't want to be 9 months pregnant moving into a house. I would like to be done with this before then. And the way I said it was so calm. And he was like, okay. He was like, I'm gonna call the realtor, and tell him I'm backing out of the house, and I'm gonna see if I can get my earnest money back. And I remember looking at him. I was standing in the kitchen, and I cocked my head to the side, and I said, okay, get your earnest money back, and let's find another house. And so that's how that first house fell through. So, fast forward, I keep looking at this to see how much time I have, because they only give you 10 minutes. So this is part 5, part 6 is coming up. But subsequently, what ends up happening the next week, which is mid-June, I was at work, and I started cramping, started bleeding. And at this point, my doctor, I had just had an ultrasound earlier that day. So I went to work, because the ultrasound was fine. I went to work, and the cramping and the bleeding started. And I started crying, because I kind of knew what was going on. And my doctor had called me and told me that when they did the ultrasound, they did not see a heartbeat. So she was like, this pregnancy is not going to be viable. So I'm crying and hysterical. And now we're going to get into part 6.
So this concludes part 1 on my platform. And we're going to get into the other parts of her story in.
Hold on. Let me Lord Jesus. Let's do a huge thank you to Real Talk with Yanni for providing the content for this video. That is a sister right there that I respect. She's been really on it. When she posted these videos about 10 days ago. So let's see. I'm only going to play the next part, because she was already, we were already.
In this video, I give commentary based on my opinion.
Sorry. She was already discussing the pregnancy. If anyone wants to join the live, you can. If you've watched Reesa Teesa, feel free to join. I think there should be a way for you to join. Yes? Hold on. Let's see. How do I share how to join? Invite. Oh, there you are. Interesting. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to post in the comments if you'd like to join and come have a conversation. For the next 10 minutes, because I'm getting sleepy. I might go live again whenever I feel like it, honestly, because there's no particular way of me trying to go live though. Okay, hold on. There you go. Okay. I added the link. If you want to join me, you can. You can, and let's discuss. I put in the chat for both Facebook and YouTube. Um, if you watch this, feel free to join me. Let's talk about it. Um, it's been okay. So there's, you know what? Tell you what, I will leave part 2 for another day. Um, let's discuss this though. So there's been a few things about this. So number one, um, she took accountability for her staying in a relationship too long than what she should have been, right? Hindsight would always be 2020, and it's one of those things where like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. So I will always give her props for understanding what part she played into the illusion and why she stayed so long. She was very honest about why. And she was also honest at every point that, like, she's not tripping. This man is making me go crazy. The lies. It's the lies, the lies, the lies. Remind me of Candy from that Real Housewife of Atlanta reunion. The lies. No, for real. Reesa took accountability for the way she played. Now, once you are in the trenches of a relationship, you don't see how deep you are unless someone else pointed out, or once you leave the situation and you can reflect and go to therapy, and then you realize how bad your situation was. And I'm sure there's quite a few people that can relate, because if you go on TikTok and you found her, Reesa Teesa, and you go to her comment section, the women were so into it and giving her so much words of encouragement, like, oh my goodness, sis, thank you for leaving. Of course, there were a few comments that were unfavorable, calling her all kinds of big back this. Charlemagne the God is one of those people who are really uncouth about this whole situation by saying, like, women who are big back should not expect to have such a good relationship life. First of all, no woman deserves to be treated like crap. No woman should deserve to be lied to all the time. No woman deserves to be in the trenches with a lying psychopath like her ex-husband. Nobody deserves that, male or female. Nobody deserves a lying partner, ever, ever. Nobody deserves to feel like you are being blindsided. Nobody deserves to feel like, oh, it's okay to lie to me as long as you paying the bills. That the math is not mathing on that. It's 2 plus 2 equals 5. Baby, you are in the wrong place. You need to leave. You need to move on. And we start to make excuses after a while, because the need for the relationship to move forward is stronger than your suffering. And that's how she kept going with the relationship, because she felt like, oh my God, the end goal is marriage. The end goal is this house. I'm going to let so much stuff pass through because I want my end goal, and that is marriage. We have so much of a pedestal. I'm sorry, we have pedestalized marriage so much that a lot of women wants to forego their boundaries for the sake of being married. And that is a sick concept to me. You know, we have Reesa Teesa who mentioned tonight that she felt uncomfortable moving a man in because she was raised as a Christian woman, and she felt uncomfortable knowing that in her faith you should not move in together unless you are married. However, her desperation for companionship allowed her to say, I want companionship versus following my faith. As I said in the beginning, sadly, it was kind of muted because I didn't realize I was on mute. But I did say back in 2020, 2021, those 2 years for the most part, we had a surge of content creators talking about women need to settle for whoever they can choose, for whoever that they can have. If you are a big woman, they would call you Big Shirley, and they would tease you for the life of you. And you could never understand why they would tease you, because how dare you put on weight after having 3, 4 kids? How dare you gain weight? It's a part of life. I'm going to gain weight. And you going to fight me for it? What you going to do? You going to beat me up? What's the problem? You know, we have men who knows nothing about women's health trying to tell us about our bodies. Not knowing so many things ruin our bodies. Simple things like hormone imbalance, like just eating a simple sandwich can make me blow up in 2 weeks. Like my face just the next day. I have a sugar problem. I can't drink. When I drink, my face swells up. And depending on the alcohol, I get chin hairs. God forbid I have a relationship like this man, like Reesa Teesa had, that would force me to drink. Because I am cuckoo caca over all the stuff he's saying to me and lying to me and make me feel like I'm delusional when I'm really not. That will force me to drink. The next thing I know, I blow up. Now, I'm not saying like he made her, become a BBW. However, like alcoholism is a real thing. There is sugar in alcohol, and sugar make you big. I can have one Chardonnay glass, and I have to work and fight for 2 whole weeks to get rid of my puffiness in my face. I would literally have to drink a gallon of water per day for a week to reduce my puffiness. As a woman. But as a man, it doesn't affect you as much. So I'm saying all of this to say this. There was a surge of content online geared towards Black women in 2020 and 2021 about how unfit we are to be in a relationship, and that we should deserve scraps, and that we should deserve whatever comes to us because we're big. Not realizing all the trauma I've been through, not realizing I don't put on weight because I have 2, 3 kids that these irresponsible men don't want to take care of. So I'm forced to take care of 3 kids, 2 to 3 kids that I have birthed with no help. Because I have no help, I don't have time to take off to go lose my baby weight. On average, every pregnancy brings you about 30 pounds, 15 to 30 pounds extra. So imagine I'm at 3 kids. I've gained 45 extra pounds. And if I'm single, I do not have time to go work out, and I get pregnant again. Oop, there goes another 15 pounds. Next thing you know, I gained 60 pounds in 3 years because you keep knocking kids in me. And that also adds up to married women too. It adds up. It adds up. And because you gain weight, all of a sudden you are dirt to men. You don't deserve anything good. You don't deserve to have a faithful person. You don't deserve for someone to treat you nice. You don't deserve for someone to get married to you. You don't deserve someone to buy you a house. You don't like there were so many people that be like, how dare she expect someone to take care of her when she looked like that? So I don't deserve decency. I don't deserve to be a princess. I think that's uncalled for, honestly. Um, but anyway, so thank you for joining me tonight on part one for the Reesa Teesa story. Who the F I married? Did I marry? Um, Shout out again to Real Talk with Yanni for the first video. We will do the second video next time. Um, there's no particular day or time that I might come back to do it because that depends on my availability. And baby, I was just free tonight. I said, let me go live. But who knows? Part two might be tomorrow, or it might be 3 weeks from now. Who knows? But I want to do it. I think it's important for us to go over the story and have the dialogue that I want to have on this topic. Um, but yeah, uh, I posted the link in the comments, in the chat. If anyone wants to click on it and join me, you have 5 more minutes to join me. If not, I will end the stream. I will end the stream and go night night and wash this makeup off my face and go to sleep. If you have any comments on tonight or just Reesa Teesa in general, how would you feel if someone were to do something like that to you? Hey Wendell, hey Paul. If you've watched it on TikTok, join me. Let's have the conversation. You don't have to, but if you want to, that'll be great. You know. There were so many red flags. I mean, like she took accountability for the red flags. I think she said she called it the United Nations of red flags. United Nations of red flags. So she understood. She knew what time it was. She knew what time it was for sure. For sure. She knew what time it was. Yeah. By the way, I have an active YouTube channel now. So I start reviewing TV shows. So stuff like Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, uh, what else? Sisters. Um, Shows like that. So I review them and I post them on my YouTube channel. So if you like watch them, please go watch them. Give me a like, give me a share on these videos. My name on most platforms is Queen Loudwine. I'm gonna type it so you guys can see it. So that is my name everywhere. It's the same name on YouTube. So if you want to search for me on YouTube, it's this name. It's the same name on Instagram. It's the same name on Twitter. It's the same name on TikTok. Same name on Threads. I made it easy for you. Just find me like this. Queen Ludwig, like this, okay? Yeah, just like that. Wait. There you go. Just like this, okay? That's my name everywhere else. You're looking to find me on YouTube, you search that and you should go to my channel. You can see all the videos, all my past lives is on there. Help me get to my first 1,000 subscribers. I would love it. I would hope to get there by the summer. help me get monetized. I miss doing radio. So I think, hey Tico, I think with me going back to commentary space would be good for me because I miss running my mouth. So I miss running my mouth. So yeah. Yeah. But yeah. All right. So nobody joined my link. So I will definitely go now. Hopefully you guys can join me next time on Conversations with me and whatever I chose to review at the time. All right. Bonne nuit tout le monde, and I will see you next time.